In this video, we are going to deploy WebApp using ARM template. All right, this is the Azure portal. To deploy ARM template, what is essential that you search for the custom template deployment. Custom template, deploy a custom template. That's the one. You select that. Okay, you can do this through Azure CLI and you can do this through Azure PowerShell as well. But we're just going to make use of the Azure portal for this particular activity. Let's say in this particular case, create a web app. That is what we're going to use as an example. But before we deploy, let's see what are the things that you can see as part of the template. Many things. This is how the template looks like. Now, if you do not know how to write this template, then my suggestion would be just get on the internet, search ARM template. There is a good documentation available. This is basically the resource body where you specify the resource type and the resource properties, so that Azure can go ahead and deploy based on what you define in this particular the JSON file. ARM template is nothing but like a JSON file, but there are some set of principles that you have to know and you need to understand how to write this template. Again, you don't need to remember anything. Everything is available on the internet. You just copy the block, you just plug in the values, and you just basically make sure that the template is ready based on your requirement, right? This is how the template looks like, nothing more than that. But once you have the template ready, you can also upload your own template and specify the parameter the way that you can see here. Otherwise, just basically plug in those values within the template itself, so that it's not asking you for any input, right? In this case, let's select basically the web app, my web app RG. Let's leave the parameter as it is, region as it is, hit next. Template is being validated by the Azure. As soon as you hit next, if there are any issues, we'll come to know. Otherwise, it will accept the things actually. Now the thing is that because I deployed one sample web app, it's saying to me that basically I'm running out of some quota here, right? So we're not in a position to go ahead and deploy that. But this is how you go ahead and do that. It's just next and then hit create, right? I don't have all those I think what I can say, the quota things address in my subscription is just basically the subscription. I got it pay as you go subscription, but you still have to make sure that you have a sufficient quota available for some of the services, which I haven't done, so leave it there. But that's how you do the deployment of the ARM template. What we can do, I already deployed in the resource group. I'll show you how does that look like. The same template, it's just basically the quota issue. And let's get to that particular template. Sometimes it takes a time to pop up the things on the screen actually. That's Azure portal, and that is why you prefer to do it through the template, over the period as and when you become better, right? Because these things only notice with the portal, not through the APIs. APIs are faster than the portal itself. So let me go ahead and click on my demo operation RG. That's where I deployed one web app, and once it is deployed, that app service, you can see that let's go ahead and click on that web app, and you get a kind of the default domain which is accessible over the internet, right? This is where you would be basically supplying some informations, environment variable, your custom domain, certificate, right? Those kind of things actually. And this is the URL. This is the public facing URL, and you can see that your web app is running and waiting for your content, right? You have to upload your a package so that your application is running just like that out of the box, right? That's how the web app is. That's how the deployment works. This is just for the web app, but same thing for Azure VM or any other service that you think about. you template in the form of ARM template. You input that template to the Azure portal, or you run through your CI/CD pipeline. That's going to be a little bit like advanced for the fundamental or beginners user, but once you get a good hold of writing the template, understanding the Azure, then definitely you can do this deployment through the CI/CD or through the command line. But right now, I think the idea, its intention is basically just to feed you that information, that how to deploy that ARM template actually using the portal. That's all pretty much.